Here we have a set math question. Okay, here we have a problem on inequality. We have two inequalities over here. Negative 4n positive 7 greater than negative 12. And the second inequality is negative 4n negative 7 less than negative 12. We have to find one possible value of n. Okay, now let's solve both the inequalities. First, let me take the first inequality. That is negative 4n positive 7 greater than negative 12. Okay, let me subtract 7 from both sides. So because I have to isolate n, for that I have to get rid of all the values around the variable n. So when I subtract 7 from both sides, positive 7 and negative 7 will cancel. I'm getting negative 4n greater than, when I combine negative 12 and negative 7, I'm getting negative 19. Okay, now in my next step, what I have to do is I have to divide both sides by negative 4 to isolate n on the left side. So let me divide both sides by negative 4, negative 19 over negative 4. Okay, in an inequality, whenever I multiply or divide both sides by the same negative value, I have to flip the inequality sign. Already we have greater than, so it will become less than, because I divided both sides by the same negative value, that is negative 4. This negative 4, negative 4 will cancel. I'm getting n less than. So this negative will cancel. I'm getting 19 over 4. So when I divide 19 divided by 4, let me divide it using calculator. I'm getting 4.75, that is n is less than 4.75. So solving the first inequality, I'm getting n is less than 4.75. Okay, now let me solve the second inequality, that is negative 4n negative 7 less than negative 12. So the same thing, I have to isolate n on the left side. For that, I have to add 7 to both sides. When I add 7 to both sides, negative 7 positive 7 will cancel out. Negative 4n negative less than. So when I combine negative 12 positive 7, I'm getting negative 5. Okay, to solve for n, I divide both sides by, let me do it in the next step. So I divide both sides by negative 4. That is negative 4n by negative 4 and negative 5 by negative 4. Since I divide both sides by the same negative value, I have to flip the inequality sign. Then already we have less than, it will become greater than. So this negative 4 will cancel. N has to be greater than. So this negative sign will cancel out. When I divide 5 by 4, let me do it. I'm getting 1.25. Okay, so here the solution of the second inequality says n has to be greater than 1.25, and solution of the first inequality says n has to be less than 4.75. Now what we can do is we can combine both the solutions. That is 1.25 less than n less than 4.75. That is n has to be between these two values, 1.25 and 4.75. So we can list out the integer values of for n. Actually, there is no restriction that n has to be an integer. Anyways, I just list out only the integer values between this 1.25 and 4.75. Then n can take the integers 2, 3, 4. So we have 3 possible values for n, but the question is asked us to find one possible value of n. So one of these 3 values can be considered for n.